Happy Thursday. It's Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and Brass Ring Media. But per usual, like every day, I am with Mr. Robert Karpolis, WD Creative_ish, and we're going to cover a little bit of that AEW Summer Blockbuster video. Robert, how are you today?
Blockbuster video. Wow.
Oh no, we're getting the lag again.
What a difference. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. We're getting some lag again today, Robert. I don't know if it's your AT&T
it's something with StreamYard, because I was literally just on a
what the heck?
No, it's StreamYard. I was on a I don't know. I was literally just on a Zoom. Yeah, I was literally just on a Zoom with 40 people and no issues, no lag, no nothing. It's our friends at StreamYard. They're not cooperating.
They're not our friends right now. They're very uncooperative. Robert's gone, but let's give some shout outs to some folks in the chat in the meantime. We got Triple E in the house. Yes, there will be a daily wrestling hotline today. I got to get one in there. Dre Owen says, made it to a live show. Didn't think I would this week while I'm on vacation. Dre, where are you this week? Wow, pretty nice. Where's your vacay? Wrestling Old Head says, R and I were live, man. It's a hot one, like 7 inches from the midday sun. Ooh, I love the Santana / Rob Thomas reference. Man, that was in the thick of my Myrtle Beach stay when I was 14 years old. That was the song playing in the household quite a bit. Trayvon says, Robert looks sunburned, looking like Quirk from Google. Quirk, Google it, kids. I think I remember that. Robert, welcome back.
Well, I'm going to try this from a different computer, and we'll see how that goes.
All right. So far, so good.
Well, great.
Yes. Dre Owens is in Virginia Beach on vacation. I hope you're enjoying it.
Why are we talking about beach? Oh, I saw Robert looks sunburned. It's the pink shirt.
Is it
tanned? But yeah, it looks a little red. Was out put in 8 miles this morning, and here I am.
You put in 8 miles today?
8 miles this morning, yes, sir.
God bless you. My goodness, that's good stuff, Robert.
It takes a lot of energy to make it through 30 minutes of talking with Dom.
You gotta prepare yourself a little bit. Did you prepare yourself for that 4-hour Dynamite last night?
I did. So funny enough, I just wrapped a Patreon with Scott Chaplin, which Dom you'll have in your inbox momentarily, where we talked moment by moment through everything that we witnessed with our friends at All Elite Wrestling. But I had some big takeaways from the show. I think there was a lot to like about where they moved with some of their big storylines. But the major concern, the thing that kind of came to light, and Scott and I had to cut our conversation early because I was jumping over to here, is I am really concerned about this build for All In.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Mm-hmm. So the show, so Nonprofit 87 says that they went to the show last night. I bless you for that, because there was a moment where you knew it went from Dynamite to Collision.
Yes,
and it was all about the boom. Literally, like they went up. It's 10:01. Send out Adam Cole to let people know to change the channel.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, so I caught Dynamite on Max this morning, and it cut off like right after Kenny got attacked. I didn't get to see the elbow drop segment, the like internal bleeding stuff that went down, the bigger part of the angle, it seemed like. And
did you watch Collision or no?
No, did not watch Collision.
I watched Collision. It's the beauty of having a DVR and being able to record both. And it's funny. So last week, this problem happened as well. And obviously I wasn't here last week, but when I talked to Scott, he said he's like, I knew Dynamite was supposed to be a 4-hour show. I didn't realize it divides up from Dynamite to Collision. And when he watched it on Max, the Dynamite feed cut off.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't indicate you need to go click on another link someplace else to go follow what's going on with Collision, which to me, problematic. You want to make it as idiot-proof and easy as you possibly can for your audience to watch your show. I'll steer you a little bit on a couple of things that happen on Collision, but for the most part, if you didn't watch Collision, you watched Collision.
That's what I keep hearing. And when I looked at the results and stuff like that, that's what it felt like as well. So,
and we're gonna be fair to the folks today, because again, there was a lot to like, and there's some areas where I see the chance for real improvement.
absolutely, there is some stuff to really like from Dynamite. And AEW overall, but certainly some criticisms still linger in the balance. But all right, let's start off though. We as AEW start off in a big way with that Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland match. Goes to a time limit draw after 30 minutes, and then we get an angle with the Death Riders and the Young Bucks also being involved. Robert, what did you think of the execution of this? Your concern yesterday was them giving away a match for free, too much of it, and they gave away all of it. So
They gave away a 30-minute match. My concern during the match became very early on when it looked like Ospreay may have broken his nose, and then I went, "Oh no, are we not going to get a full-fledged match?" Will Ospreay ain't human, guys.
No.
That dude like clearly busted up his nose in some form or fashion, whether it was broken or what. Didn't miss a beat, and him and Swerve had a hell of a match. And it was a competitive match. It was an exciting match. It was a great back and forth match. When they mentioned like, "Oh no, there's only 8 minutes left," I went, "Oh, we're getting a time limit draw," and
Yeah.
that's fantastic because they got to the time limit draw, so you didn't give a win to one side or the other. And then when they said, "We want sudden death," as soon as they said death, you sent out the Death Riders. I like that. That was a great decision on AEW's part. Good production. The Bucks come out. They handcuff Swerve. They put the shoes on with the thumbtacks that Excalibur had to point out. Those aren't actually part of the shoes.
No.
Excalibur sucks. You have Ian Riccaboni literally right there. You need that thing from The Simpsons when Kent Brockman gets shoved off and Bumblebee Man took over. That's what I'm waiting for. Like, push Excalibur into a volcano and just let Ian Riccaboni do the job. It's the same tone, and he's not wearing a stupid mask. But then there was that moment where the Bucks go for their evil sneaker super kick, and Ospreay jumps in and takes the bullet like it's Lethal Weapon. And I like this. It should have been cheesy. It should have been corny. It shouldn't have worked. It totally worked.
Does it sell you for a good tag match between Ospreay, Swerve, and the Young Bucks?
No, it totally sells me on what I had always hoped it was going to be, which was Hangman and Swerve begrudgingly joining up to take on the Young Bucks, while Ospreay goes and takes on Jon Moxley, which still feels like the direction this should have gone.
Yeah. I enjoyed the match. I was kind of in my head critical of the fact that they gave this all away on television to build to something else later on. But I almost was like, I'm thinking of how this match was going on so long. I was like, why don't the Young Bucks like cut this match off early, like super early, and there you have a story there, and then you still have the intrigue of having Ospreay versus Strickland take place yet again. But
it did feel what's kind of strange with this, and this is more just my own thing, and I'm sure someone will pop up on there and be like, "Well, this isn't WWE." Blah, blah, blah. Like, you had that pay-per-view where you had the anarchy in the arena, where your executive vice presidents, people who have power in the company, lost. And in WWE, when the authority lost or the corporation lost something, the next night there was going to be hell to pay for the baby faces, so they don't really get a true victory. Instead, here there was no immediate retaliation. There was no exertion of power. And you feel like the Young Bucks are kind of rudderless in that regard. So yes, they came out and they attacked and we're going to get this tag match, but they don't feel like the true existential threat that they should.
Yeah, and there definitely needs to be something else involved with this match to really make it more intriguing than just Young Bucks versus Ospreay and Swerve, because there doesn't feel like any stakes really at this. It just feels like, oh, this is a good match on paper, but what else are we going to get from this? So they do got some lightweight.
It's a fine match, and I think that's where my bigger concern for All In is, because they've been hyping All In for about a year, and they're holding this out like this is their WrestleMania, which they absolutely should do and absolutely need. And let's make this feel like the biggest show ever. For WrestleMania, we on this show were pretty well predicting that card as early as like September, and we were pretty damn accurate for most of it. with the exception of, we know we're getting Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. We know that we're going to be getting Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega. Great match. Hangman, John Moxley, fine. And we're probably going to get this tag match in some form or fashion, the Young Bucks, whatever. There is no other big dream match that we are excited about for All In. There's nothing lined up where you look at the Hurt Syndicate, who are the tag team champions. There is no clear number one contenders that you want to see them go up against and face.
Right.
There's no one for MJF that you want to see him go wrestle. He's not in a blood feud with anybody right now. There's no one for Ricochet to go and wrestle. It looks like they're teasing Kyle Fletcher and Adam Cole for the TNT title, but they've been teasing that for a month, and you're still a month away from All In, and is that really a huge match? There's nothing for Konosuke Takeshita. And then it was like you could do the Ops versus the Death Riders, and that's a 6-man tag. You could do the Don Callis family versus, whoever. It's a 6-man tag. It's just a lot of multi-man matches. There's not a lot of one-on-one direct personal stories that you can really sink your teeth into. And by having Mercedes take on Toni Storm, you've now taken the TBS title off the board, which means there's only one women's singles title that can be defended at the show. And having a championship is kind of a good cheat. You're combining the international title and the continental title. So now you've taken one of those titles off the board to be able to have a personalized match at All In. I'm just not seeing what else is going to hook an audience to really make them want Hook.
Ooh.
Where are we going with Hook?
Hook.
Again, yeah, there it is. Sorry, that was a rant within a rant within a rant.
Well, I think it's a sensible rant to have, because you're right. I mean, you don't have a lot of these matches feeling like too big of a deal, and you don't have proper opponents sometimes for some of your top stars. Like MJF's the perfect example, like you said. You do have the TNT championship in the mix, but like all that stuff's been based out of Collision. It seems like you barely see any of Adam Cole, like you just mentioned.
So that's another point. I'm going to put a pin in that and get to that in just a moment. There was I thought the first hour of Dynamite was cooking. The Don Callis Okada thing to set up what we were going to see later, teasing tension with them was kind of great. The Hurt Syndicate taking out Commander was kind of great. And then the moment where I realized, oh no, we're watching a 4-hour show, was when I heard the phrase, and his opponent, Blake Christian.
Yes. We had Mystico taking on Blake Christian. Mystico gets the win here, obviously. And then it sets up MJF perpetuating more of the feud between these two, and threatening to take his mask off and all that stuff. Then we have the tag match. It's Hurt Syndicate and Speedball Mike Bailey, Kevin Knight, and Mascara.
So I like that it went from one match to a promo to another match. It felt like there was forward momentum. What was kind of I didn't love was MJF bringing up that Mystico was Sin Cara, and Sin Cara was sloppy and terrible. And Mystico has been a guy who my entire career of watching wrestling has always been, I've been told Mystico is amazing. I've never once seen it. I remember when he signed with WWE, and they're like, Mystico is the game changer. This is the next Rey Mysterio. This is the man who's going to revolutionize professional wrestling. And then we saw him, and he was sloppy and uncoordinated and uninspired, and they replaced him with Hunico. And now with AEW, they're like, this is the biggest star in CMLL. This is we watched the match with him and Blake Christian. That was just a match. And then you have MJF reminding you, oh yeah, this guy used to stink.
Yeah, I got to see some of Mystico here recently in the company we don't talk about, but we did, and he was good. But like, for somebody to like really like take me aback, he doesn't necessarily do that in a lot of ways still too. But yeah, it's it's a fun dynamic between him and MJF, I would say. But ultimately, I thought this match too was fine, but there's just a lot of like time spots that get missed with all these athleticism and high flying moments and stuff like that really take me out of the matches too when I'm watching it, these multi-tag man matches. A lot of waiting for people to jump and this usual complaints that some of us have on regards to some of these matches. But still fun triple tag. But yeah, it definitely takes me out when I see some of that stuff though too, Robert.
It's a little jarring.
Yes.
But next up we got the Hangman Adam Page segment where he was dragged to the ring while being tied up by the Death Riders, not to be confused with earlier in the night when Swerve was tied up and beaten up. Totally different method. One was handcuffs, the other I believe was duct tape.
Duct tape.
So that's the only way to make someone have to sit through a John Moxley promo is they have to be physically restrained.
So what do you think of the segment then? I take it.
It was fine. Like there is a better as much as it pains me to say it, there's a better John Moxley story to be told here with him and Hangman Page, which is we got almost a variation of it, but it's the idea of, John Moxley came to AEW because I saw the potential in this company. But you, Hangman, are one of the guys who started this company, and you leaned in on the worst impulses of what wrestling is. That you were all up in your feels and your emotions, and you were caring about how you looked and your gimmick and what you dressed like. You were not a real man. You were not a man who should be world champion. I had to create the Death Riders to turn this into my image and erase your image. There you go. Boom, you're off to the races. Instead, we got this segment. It was fine. The Ops came out, and that's what made me think, oh man, we may get the Ops versus some version of the Death Riders. Instead, we're going to see a 10-man tag next week in Mexico.
Oh my, yes. I thought the segment was all right. Like I think it was one of the better Death Rider segments, I would say, because I think it did hone in on just Moxley and Hangman in a lot of ways and creating that build for what they got. And I think it added to Hangman being the counterpart to what Moxley is at the time. So
I also don't love Moxley motivating him. Like, this is now the second person who's motivated him. And to be fair, WWE did this with Gunther and Jey Uso, which I didn't love. Mm-hmm. In sports, you're never going to see this. You're not going to get the New York Giants saying, like, listen, Washington Redskins, we're going to be facing you on Sunday. We know if you play your best, you can beat us. So you better bring your best so you can try to beat us. That's stupid.
It's a very lazy kind of storyline too, in a lot of ways.
Yes. Then there was another stupid decision. So they did Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford versus Ty Mello and Anna Jay.
Right.
Ty Mello might be the least welcome return of the week, and that includes a week where Nikki Bella came back.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're not a fan of Ty Mello?
Did you watch this match?
I did watch this match. I think she's okay.
We talked about this yesterday, the number of women that they bring in and then they don't really do anything with, who are talented, who deserve time. Ty Conti, Ty Mello, whatever, she has not gotten better over time. Anna Jay has not gotten better over time. I know that you are a curse on the universe, Dom. Me? And yes, and because you invoked Lady Frost's husband, 3 hours later, she remembered she's married, and she announced her divorce.
Mm-hmm.
If you have someone like Megan Bayne, who really is this unique, once-in-a-generation feel kind of talent, you shouldn't be beating her, even in a tag match. Bring back Ty Mello, great, feed her to Megan Bayne.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of funny you did mention that because we talked about Game of Thrones yesterday and how kind of what a mess that ended up turning into be. But it made me think of like, man, they should really position Megan Bayne as like the Mountain in Game of Thrones, where it's just like people get fed to the wolves to her, and she just annihilates everybody. Like, it would make plenty of sense, but yet they don't really do that. They make a competitive match out of it, and she somehow squeaks out a win sometimes. It's weird.
It is odd. It's like she feels like the perfect fit that you need for a world champion.
Yes.
And they're not going with it. And speaking, nothing more ham-fisted than that. Hey guys, this Sunday is Father's Day.
Yeah.
Do you struggle with what you need to get your dad? I know my dad is someone, he never gives me ideas. I don't want anything. I don't need anything. Something your dad is always going to want or need is a great pair of jeans. My dad wears jeans all the time. Sometimes they look, I love them. They don't look great. They never fit properly. And that all goes out the window with the perfect jean. You don't have to make him go to the mall. You don't have to make them go try on things in a fitting room. The great thing about the Perfect Jean is they got everything covered for you. They got waist sizes from 26 to 50, lengths from 26 to 38. So if you're dealing with someone Dom size, you're dealing with somebody shorter, because Dom is 6'4". We all know
That's
this.
right.
Perfect Jeans got you covered. They got a number of different washes. They got a number of different cuts, a number of different colors. You pick these out online. You order them. You have them shipped for Father's Day to your dad. And the best part, free returns, free exchanges. So he gets it. He tries it on. He tweaks it a little bit. He's going to have a pair of jeans that he's absolutely going to love. And what you're going to love is, for a limited time only, you get 15% off your first order plus free shipping. Just head to theperfectjean.nyc or Google The Perfect Jean and use code RUMOR15 for 15% off at checkout. Guys, it's finally time to stop crushing your balls. Remember, your dad's balls are where you came from. The least you can do, make sure that it's comfortable. And go to perfectjean.nyc because, again, our listeners get 15% off your first order plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use that code RUMOR15 at checkout. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with promo code RUMOR15. After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. F your khakis and get the perfect jean. And F AEW for overbooking whatever the hell this main event segment was. So they put on a fantastic video package recapping Omega and Okada. They made it feel big time. They made it feel like this is why this is such an epic feud. Here are all these clips from New Japan over the years. You guys are getting a once in a lifetime opportunity to see the last confrontation between these two men. You're getting a unified title.
Yes.
You then had Don Callis come out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right. And in my mind, I thought maybe what we're setting up is Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher versus Omega and Okada as a tag team. That'd be a hell of a match for Arena Mexico next week.
True.
And then you have Okada turn on Omega after the match. There you go. It's all you need with the story. Instead, you've now got Okada aligned with the Don Callis family. They beat him with a stick. And then there's this over-the-top blood. This is the third beatdown in a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
My hope, my thought, my feeling was when they announced this unified title, I went, oh man, are we finally going to get a brand split? Because this feels like you just launched a second world title. And if you put that world title on Kazuchika Okada, which I believe is where this is ultimately going to go, and you make him the face of Collision is now an interesting show. And in watching, starting at 10:01 p.m., there is a roster of guys that exist in Collision World. In Collision World, Dom, it's a magical place. Adam Cole is a main eventer in Collision World.
Oh.
FTR are a force to be reckoned with in Collision World. Hologram is a thing in Collision World. It's a wonderful, magical place that exists on Saturday nights. It's such an easy fix. And I feel like we're getting closer to it. And it would take the pressure off Tony to let him focus on one group of guys on Wednesday and one group of guys on Saturday, and 9 the two shall meet. Like, that's the way to do this. And when you need to do a Forbidden Door, it's Dynamite versus Collision. And then you can do internal dream matches that you didn't think you would have wanted to have seen.
Seems like a pretty easy fix, Robert.
It does seem like a pretty easy fix. Couple notes from Collision. Kyle Fletcher, yes, Kyle Fletcher beat Anthony Bowens. Cool. Atlantis and Atlantis Jr. were on with Carlos Cabrera, and then FTR and Stokely Hathaway cut a promo on them, and then it turned into what's now going to be a 12-man tag next week. Don't even ask. Yeah, it's best not to ask. Julia Hart took on Toni Storm.
Oh, those two.
Yeah, and then Mercedes Moné attacked after, and then Mina Shirakawa helped, and then Mercedes Moné attacked her, and da-da-da-da-da. Nothing of any major importance. You missed Mark Briscoe and Ishii and Willow Nightingale. This was amazing. So the Maximum Male models are on Collision. I love those guys.
They're awesome.
I forgot John Morrison is in AEW.
Oh my gosh, yes, he is.
Dude, that was wild.
Johnny TV, right?
Sure. Chris Statlander and Wheeler Yuta are going to bone, apparently. That's where that's going. Yeah, they're gonna. If we had a Blue Chew ad, this would be the time for that Blue Chew ad. But yikes, there was one moment of actual storyline that occurred, and it was so goofy, and I loved it. So you got the Bucks who forget that this is a television show. I love when that happens. They forget this is a TV show on TV with cameras, and they were talking with Hangman, and they're like, "Hangman, we're following the plan perfectly. This is going great. All you got to do is win the title." Hangman's like, "Hey man, there is no plan. I'm not with you guys. You need to stop doing this. You need to stop messing with me. You need to stop messing with Will Ospreay, and you need to stop messing with Swerve." Ooh. Oh. He's telling them not to mess with Swerve. He's warming to Swerve. He walks away. The Bucks walk away. The locker room door opens. Prince Nana was behind the door. He heard everything through the door on a televised program. And then Swerve was standing next to him and was, "Yeah, I heard that too." Dude, this was, as Scott Chaplin put, TGIF. This was an episode of Perfect Strangers. Larry and Balky are going to reunite. They're going to do the dance of joy. It's a wonderful time for everybody. And then I feel bad. The gentleman who was at the taping mentioned something that I was actually going to bring up. They randomly gave us Beast Mortos versus Bandito. And it was a barn burner, but it was like 3 hours into this show. And then the main event of this program, this was 3 hours and 47 minutes into this taping in beautiful Portland, Oregon, in the Cloud and the Who Gives a Damn Arena. It was Danny Garcia and the Paragon versus Hechicero, Josh Alexander, Lance Archer, and Konosuke Takeshita in an 8-man tag.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, when I said this, when WWF many years ago used to do these massive marathon tapings, they used to end it with a Hulk Hogan match. Can you imagine you bring little Johnny, little Susie to AEW, you make him sit through all this, and they're like, "What's our main event?" Good news, kids. Hechicero.
Hechicero. Who is he part of the Don Callis family? Is that a fact? I don't even know.
Lance Archer was in your main event.
My goodness.
The kids were so excited to see Roderick Strong they couldn't be contained. And I couldn't be contained to be excited to be here, as I am every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern with Mr. Dominic D'Angelo. You can catch us on a plethora of platforms, including the WW Creative _ISHX account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo and ad-free shows. Dom, as always, world-class show. Hell of an episode. You'll be getting the Patreon in your inbox in a moment, so you can upload that for all of the Working Stiff Patreon fans. Our main Working Stiff show went up yesterday. You can get that wherever you get podcasts, including the audio version of this show. Just as a reminder, in case someone posts on our Facebook page, "Tom forgot to post the Rumor and Innuendo thing." He won't. You know why, guys? He's the best damn producer in all of wrestling podcasting. So on behalf of the whole effing show, Dominic D'Angelo, hey, I like that. It rhymes. I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Go Ridgeway Elkers. Elker Pride.